Welcome to the Hank Cisco Show. Ladies and gentlemen, don't touch that dial. Great show today. We have interesting conversation with a reporter that, I mean, he covers the news like the dew in the morning. You ever see it? You know, it covers everything, you know. And he's a friend. I know his father. His father used to work in a sheriff's office, you know. So we're talking about homegrown people right here in the studio at Northtown High School. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to welcome my guest, James, in this corner, Myers. Okay, from Patch. Now, tell me, Patch, what is this, Patch?
Patch. Patch is a system of online news sites. There are about 900 of them across the country now. We've got, I think, 10 in Montgomery County area, and I run Norristown. So I cover Norristown for us, and I also get into West and East Norton as well.
You know, we're Norristown area, right?
Yeah.
Norristown, East Norton.
Oh, I know the area.
Bridgeport, right?
Yeah, I grew up here, so.
Right. Yeah, tell me that.
I know the lines.
So people, I want you to know something about him. You know, we say to read newspaper, you read about him, you know, you don't know what they look like, you don't know what they sound like. Well, you're going to go see what he looks like, and you're going to hear what he sounds like. Now, tell me what schools you went to.
Growing up, I went to St. Pat's.
St. Patrick High School.
St. Patrick, right over there.
Elementary.
No, it wasn't a high school. It was an elementary school.
It used to be high school years
ago.
It used
to be. My grandma tells me about that all the time.
Yeah.
I went to the grade school over on, what is that, between DeKalb Green and Chestnut there.
Right.
And I went to Bishop Kenrick for a few years, and then my family moved over to Bridgeport when I was around 16, so we transferred to Upper Marion.
And then, do you have any other education?
You know what I did? I went to college for a while. I was admitted to the University of the Arts, and didn't have the money to go, so I spent some time at Montgomery County Community College. But I actually left Montgomery County Community College because I realized what I wanted to do was write.
Right.
And I got a job at TV Guide of all places.
TV Guide.
TV Guide.
Yeah, they don't exist no more.
Yeah, not in the way that they used to.
No.
So I kind of did my reporting and writing chops at TV Guide, and when I left there, I went to visit around Europe, where some of my family still lives in Ireland and England.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then over there?
Yeah. Probably spent a little too much time over there.
Over there, little pubs over there to drink the beer over there.
Oh yeah. I spent some time in quite a few pubs.
Is the beer better over there than over here?
Depends on the beer you're looking for. I'm a big fan of Guinness. I'm a big fan of the darker beers. So when you put, like, you know, the standard thing you get in an American bar is the Coors Light or the.
In Ireland, is the beer warm or cold like here in the United States?
They do serve it room temperature. It's not a cold.
Any good?
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. It's just, you know,
sober,
I would prefer that. That didn't keep me sober.
I mean, but most of they do serve it. It's warm, like lukewarm.
Yeah, room temperature.
Room temperature. That's all. They don't. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, I prefer when I have it here. I'd rather it be cold. But you know, you're
when in Rome, you do like the Romans
exactly.
do.
Exactly. Thank you.
Unless you want to put it in the microwave.
Right. So when I came back, I was looking for something to do, and I ended up at the Times Herald as a.
You worked at the Times Herald
as a beat reporter. I was there for a few months, and then they actually gave me another job as an entertainment editor over in the mainline newspapers. And then for the next, 15 years or so, I just kind of traveled along from newspaper to, magazine to newspaper, going up in the ranks.
Right. Well, I guess this past week, there's been a real dramatic episode, I guess you would call it, a heart-pumping situation where police officer Fox was, he was murdered, assassinated, ambushed, hit in the side of the head. Didn't have an opportunity to pull his gun. The gun was in his socket or in a holster. And his dog, I was wondering, and I have to give credit to the district attorney's office, the police, Plymouth, and all the police who made that investigation. When you get to the scene and you find an officer dead, and his holster is his gun is in his holster, and then the other fella is dead, you say, well, wait a minute, who shot him? The police didn't shoot him. Now, there was other police at the scene. They would say right away, it might have been friendly fire.
Right.
It had to be, and that, there was wondering if that could happen. The dog was wounded, and here they find out that, now you tell me what you know. You covered this story. Tell me what,
Right.
what
Well,
what-
I got to tell you, I wasn't at the scene for the, when I saw that night, I got home and I was just starting to make some dinner, and I saw the alerts about what had happened. And it happened over in Plymouth meeting, so I immediately called in because we have a Plymouth White Marsh patch. So I called in to see what was going on, and he said, I'm heading down to the scene now. And I realized he's going to need help. This is a big thing happening.
Yeah.
And I saw that they
what's
were...
his name?
Kyle Bagenstos, excellent editor, did an amazing
he works
job.
out of where? Conshohocken?
He works out of Plymouth White Marsh. He also does cover Conshohocken,
Okay,
though, too.
good.
But Plymouth White Marsh patch, great patch for that community. He covered this whole incident from start to finish, and he's still covering. He's still covering all the fundraisers that are happening.
Right.
He's
I
very
saw you have
involved.
an ad, or not an ad, but a notice of different fundraisers, different people are helping
And
out.
more are coming in.
Yeah.
People are contacting
Yeah.
me with
So
even more, so we'll keep updating
You
that
can
list for
contact
people.
him, Patch, and if you're going to have some
Definitely,
kind
let
of
us know.
fundraiser, so we can get some people
We're
there,
easy to find.
they can use
But
it.
Kyle was at the scene. I realized they were taking him to Montgomery Hospital.
Okay, that's when
So
that's your territory.
this is my beat. I immediately went to the hospital. I did a quick run by Mercy Suburban just to make sure there wasn't, a mistake in
Right.
there. And when I got to Montgomery, I realized this is the right place because, there are police everywhere. There are people starting to kind of congregate on the street. There were folks who it seemed like were his family and friends congregating in the parking lot of the emergency room.
Right.
It was tough. It's hard to cover something like that, but I knew this was going to be an important part of the coverage that night because people were hearing helicopters everywhere.
Yeah.
People were seeing sirens. That when stuff like that happens, folks in the community who aren't right there on the scene or
Right.
know somebody, that can tell them what's happening, want to know what's happening. They want to know, why am I hearing helicopters over
Right.
my house? Why are these sirens going over? Why is everyone on edge? And so I hope we're able to do that for them. And we usually, that's what's great about my job is that,
Letting the people know. I want to give
Exactly.
credit to the news, the Times Herald, the Inquirer, and everybody. They covered this and kept the people
Yeah.
aware of what was going on all the time.
Yeah.
Really great coverage.
and we spent the night sending out alerts to people on Twitter and sending updates on Facebook. And more than just letting people know what's happening, having conversations with them, which I think is something that I really like about my job. That's different from a lot of other sort of newspaper coverage where you kind of just give people the information and
Yeah,
they read
yeah,
it and then they
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I get to have conversations with people
Right, right.
who
I like
I work
contact.
with. Right, and they can ask me questions and I get to answer them.
Right.
And I get to know, what is it that they really want to know, and then I can go find that out for them. But yeah, that night at the hospital with Officer Fox was a rough night. My dad was a lieutenant in the sheriff's department. He's retired now. My brother is a police officer in West Conshohocken. And
yeah?
and I'm standing across the street watching, his friends and family in that parking lot, and I just kept thinking, that could be me, that could be my family there, and part of me wanted to just kind of go over and start hugging people, but my job is to, I'm not there to make
Yeah.
anyone uncomfortable
Right,
or
right,
intrude on anyone's personal moment. I'm there because the community has heard something's happened and they want to know what's
Yeah.
happening, and they want to be part of it too.
Right.
And so it's my job to be there and let people know. And it really was.
Yeah, everybody wanted to do something. I know. I'm a former police officer. Family grew up and everything, and I didn't bust out crying, but I felt it, and then when I saw the picture in the paper of the wife holding a little baby, and the baby had a little bit of a flower and a little black ribbon around her head, like a policeman wears a band on his badge, and the casket going by. I mean, I could not stop the tear, jumped out,
It's
and I had said, wait a minute, come on, let's get together here, and unbelievable,
it's a rough moment, and I don't know too many people that
Yeah.
didn't have that moment with this.
well,
I had it that night at the hospital when people started just lining the streets around the hospital,
Yeah.
waiting.
Right. Well, I know myself, my mother, my father, my brother have 3 brothers, and it had the same feeling. I was a pallbearer for Frank Rizzo, and I know the feeling when I was holding the casket, going in the cathedral, and all, and them tears just keep running out of your eyes, and just thinking about it, something like that. So, and I know you were a little older boy at St. Patrick's, I understand, right?
I was.
And you had the opportunity to meet Mother Teresa.
I did.
Right. Tell me about
I did.
that.
I'm hoping that's going to help me,
Oh, yeah.
after I pass on.
When she gets up there,
if I
she'll
get
give
to
you
the
a pass.
gates, they'll
Say,
just
look at it and say, all right, James Meyer, Pat, yeah, okay, go.
Yeah, when Mother Teresa came and started the Sisters of Charity convent over next to the Missionaries of Charity. Sorry, yes.
Charity, Missionary of Charities.
Right. Started that convent. I was an altar boy for the service, and after the big service, we all got to go over to the convent. And we all got to hug her, which was nice.
When they started this, Mother Teresa opened the missions on towns that were the poorest of the poor.
Yeah.
Norristown was picked as one of the poorest of the poor.
We
and
definitely
we're the county seat. And
had
that's been
and
over
still have some problems.
26 years ago.
Right.
26 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I remember this town growing up, and I've seen it go from being what I felt was a good place that I lived, and to a part where it started to not be so great. But I've been covering the town for almost 2 years now, pretty closely, and I feel like I'm seeing it get better again. And I love that. It honestly is. I know there are still problems.
Projects, but still, it's still not up to par as far as cleanliness.
Well, no,
Why?
we could definitely.
Now, do you find that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
anybody,
and all towns have that problem. We have it a little bit more. But this is another thing. Like, yeah, we have a bit of a garbage problem in Norristown. But I also see in the year plus that I've been covering the police, every day I go to the police station and I read through the police reports. One thing I can tell you that I've seen since I've started up until now, I see more and more people getting cited for scattering rubbish. Exactly. And I know that you can argue that maybe the police should be paying attention to bigger things. And nobody's saying they shouldn't be paying attention to bigger crimes, but I want them to be ticketing people who are scattering rubbish.
Right.
Those quality of life crimes, when we're paying attention to those and when we can get those to change, that's when Norristown starts getting better.
Frank Rizzo says if you want a good town, you want to keep it clean, you
Absolutely.
want to keep it safe.
Absolutely.
Last week I read in the paper where New York City is the dirtiest city in the United States. Why? I don't think it was the dirtiest city when Rudy Giuliani was mayor, because I'll tell you, he turned a lot of things around. Used to be guys bumping into you, trying to sell things on the sidewalk, and then squeezy guys that wipe your windshields and all. He arrested them all before they stopped that stuff. So that's sometimes you just have to, right now I think Norristown's a hug without a squeeze, and I think it's time going to come, going to squeeze. You got a president here, Gary Simpson. He's he's bobbing and weaving, looking for openings. Pop, pop, pop.
Right, and we honestly have a council, and I can't say that they do everything absolutely right, and I know people disagree with what they do sometimes, but I get the sense, speaking to every single one of them when I do, that they're genuinely interested in getting Norristown to a better place.
Definitely.
They just disagree about how to do it.
It's the same thing with John Doyle and his mom, Fran, with the theater.
The theater is amazing.
Theater. They've been knocking their brains out there for years, and
anyone
now
that
they're coming together.
Anyone that doesn't think Norristown is getting better, take a look at pictures of that place as early as last year and look at it now.
Yeah, right.
It's beautiful.
I think now they took a study about the big cities, and now I think the commissioner should, Montgomery County Commissioner Shapiro, I thought he was Italian, Superior. I thought he was Italian, Superior. Well, he's my lunchman. But other than that, I think they ought to take a study and see what's the dirtiest town in Montgomery County, okay? Let's do it, and then everybody will start, hey,
you think that'll get people to start competing?
How about check and see, and then everybody will start, beefing up a little bit, get a broom. I think Mascara one time, he donated 500 brooms to sweep in Norristown. And you can't blame Mascara because he has the containers. Put it in the container.
That is the biggest problem. Yes.
Right?
If people need to take ownership of their neighborhoods, and actually care and want these places to be clean and do something about it.
Right. Now, tell me something about one of the, I guess this is about the biggest story, the Fox, Officer Fox.
Sure.
One of the biggest, right?
Definitely in the last few years.
Yeah. Well, Sinorama made a big poster with his picture and his dog,
Yeah.
and I donated it to the Plymouth Police Department, whether they use it over there, But now Sinorama made a little emblem of the logo of the Plymouth badge, and it has on there his number 178. They're little, and you can put them on your. Now, the Plymouth Whitemoor High School is going to put them on their helmet.
Really?
Little thing like that, with 178 is badge number,
Right.
with the badge with the black ribbon on it, And my friend Dana from Sinorama, he plays hockey. Their hockey team's going to put him on there. So I think that's going to be like, you ever see this here advertising the football? They have a little check, with the advertising the shoes and the shirts and all. They
Right.
have a check. So one of them little emblems, So if you want to get one, make a little donation, go to Sinorama there at ShopRite and pick one up. It's
That
really
is
good.
absolutely
I don't have one with me. I have them in the car.
a great little business.
I can't
in
stop and
Norristown.
go out and get the car. So I'll tell you later. So, all right, now we have I want you to. We got a couple of stories to cover. I have a young
Sure,
girl
shoot.
that I interviewed here from England, and she's doing a study about Quaker women. So I think that would be nice if you would want to interview her and see what. I didn't realize that Quaker women, they were discriminated against, like, I guess like the Catholics and the Protestants. And
Every religion
everybody,
gets
everybody
discriminated against at some
Everybody got a
point.
shot,
Exactly.
So what?
Yeah, I'd certainly love to talk to her and get her opinion on what it's like here in our country, coming from England as she does.
Yeah, and then
And especially if she's staying in our neck of the woods, I'd love to hear her
yeah.
impressions of this area.
She's staying with my daughter Mary, but she was supposed to only stay 1 week, but Mary
She's
took a
probably
liking
getting
to him. They
fed
get
really
together,
well, so
they
she
gotta
wants to
stay.
stick
And
around.
she's eating spaghetti, ravioli,
Oh, yeah.
sausage, bacalao, everything, So it's really good, But let's talk about Norristown a little bit more.
Sure.
As a reporter, do you try to talk? Do you talk to some of these council people and ask them, what can you do? I know they're only one person, one vote.
Right.
But the way they're set up now, it's like it's a little different. I don't know. No, I don't hear any individual. Well, I want to do this. I want to do that. They do it as a body all the time.
They try their best to kind of get them all moving in the same direction, but there are definitely personalities on that council who have their own goals of what they want to do and interesting things.
If two people think alike, talk alike, and do everything alike, one's unnecessary.
Well,
So you got 7 councilmen. If they're all going to do that,
I can tell you right now, they disagree a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's good.
They just try and keep it civil in public. When they're doing their meetings, they don't want to argue back and forth in front of everybody. But when I talk to them individually, they definitely have their own opinions. There are things they'd like to see done differently than even council is doing. But they also realize that just because it's their opinion, it might not be what everyone wants to do. Their job is they're supposed to be doing what's best for Norristown, all of Norristown,
Right.
And lots of people have different opinions on what that is. I think they do their best to try and be mindful of it, but they also, like I said, have their own opinions.
No,
considering
that we are the county seat, I think maybe I hear the county commissioners always saying we want to help Norristown, but I'm just wondering, are we putting our feet to the fire and say, yeah, come on, help us? You say you want to help, well, come on.
I wouldn't say we put anyone's feet to the fire. I would say they definitely have, more so than the last administration, expressed an interest in helping Norristown lift itself up by its bootstraps.
Have we made the demand of anything? That's the problem.
I haven't seen any demands, I would say. I have seen that they are working more closely with the county government. For instance, the Keystone Opportunity Zone they're trying to put over in East Washington Street.
Now you're in on that. What are some of the projects that you covered that you've heard the council?
There's plenty of, that Keystone Opportunity Zone is what they would do is they'll take those certain parcels of land and give them some tax incentives to encourage developers to come down to what is essentially kind of a rough piece of land to build on. So they're hoping the tax incentives will encourage people to come down and build on that land. I know one of the companies that had already expressed interest was Gretz Beer, who's located in Norristown. They have a warehouse out in Pottstown, and they'd love to move that closer to their operation in Norristown and actually be in Norristown and bring those jobs to Norristown. So like that's the sort of thing they're trying to have happen. Get companies, give them an incentive to come and move more stuff to Norristown and be close. And that's happening a lot. Yeah. Not necessarily, the Keystone Opportunity Zone is something we'd have to work with the county and the school district on, because all of the taxing bodies have to agree that we can offer those tax incentives. So that's a way in which we're working with the county to try and help.
I want to give an experience. Now, I was on the board of the Center Theater, and we struggled with nothing, only 65, 50, or 65, 70 people in the studio, and we struggled to put it on, and then I was too, and I had a couple operations, I couldn't attend meetings, I bailed out, but I help, I go there, I support. And here they are struggling, and they all of a sudden they start. I might be wrong a little bit about how the money was spread out, but this was the only theater in Norristown, and it was getting money, getting things going, moving. All of a sudden, another outfit comes up called Horizon or something.
Horizon Theater Company, right
so
up the road.
all of a sudden they get improvement, start a lump of money over there. For what? I mean, you're already here working here, got going. It's nice. Now you have two,
Right. Well, and
why is it?
I can appreciate why you might feel like you're losing your funding for the one organization that you've been invested in.
I love art. I don't care. We have 15 studios, but let's go.
They're trying to make that art hill. They're trying to make that whole hill an art center. Right. So having more come in, I don't think necessarily is a bad idea.
No, it's not a bad idea.
I appreciate that we only have a limited amount of money.
But when you're standing in line, you don't push a guy in and get in front.
Absolutely, I understand.
And they grabbed all the
money.
But
at the same time, you can't just
if
fund
anybody
the
from
one
Horizon
thing
want to
that's
come over here, you can come over here. I'm not knocking you.
I guarantee you they would. You should give them a call. They'd love to come and tell you. The theater's going to be open soon. It's apparently a really nice looking place. They keep putting out little.
Nice. But
and it's nice to see that building in use again. That old Bell Telephone building.
Bell Telephone. You walked the beat when I was a policeman. Come on.
Right.
I know all around here. And the operators, hello, what number, please? Your number, please. Remember that? But it used to be
that was a little bit
nickel.
before my
Nickel,
time.
Then it became a dime. Now it's a quarter. Now you don't have many.
There are pay
stations.
phones. Everyone's got their own phone.
Oh my God! You got everything with this little thing here. So, but all right now. The county. What can you tell me about the county? What do you think of these three commissioners now? They're working together anyhow.
I didn't have a lot of experience covering the last administration. I've heard horror stories from the other reporters, and I, my family lives in Norristown. I've heard stories from time beyond of what it's like to work in the county. My favorite is everyone used to say that this is what happens when you go to the county to get something done. You show them your paperwork, and the clerk pulls it over and says, "Okay, let's see why this won't work." And that's what it's like to deal with the county. I don't, and I'm.
What do you mean they screen it?
Well, they immediately come to you with the idea that whatever it is you're asking to do is probably not going to work, and they're just going to find out what it is that's wrong, and they'll tell you why it won't work, as opposed to saying, how can we make this work? Yeah. And I feel like this is a current crop of this administration that wants to make things work. They still have, it's a county government. It moves slow. It takes a while to pull everyone on board onto those things. But I feel like it's, like I said with Norristown, I feel like I'm seeing things getting better. Yeah, and I know people will disagree with that, and I can't say that everything is getting better, and there aren't still things that are wrong. But I feel optimistic about it. Yeah. And maybe I'm not supposed to be. I'm supposed to be,
What are you supposed to be?
Well, as a reporter, when you're a journalist, they tell you need to be independent. And I honestly, I do my best at all times to view both sides of any situation. But this is the town I grew up in.
Right.
And this community means something to me, and that's why I cover it the way that I do. And it's important to that community that I maintain that impartiality and look at everybody's side of every issue. But I can't say that I don't have a stake in wanting Norristown and Montgomery County to be better.
Yeah.
because it means something to me.
Right. Well, you know, the town changed because when I was a policeman, like there was only one-way street. That was Penn Street, you know. And well, I worked 6 days a week. You know, we didn't get paid for overtime. You know, it was a whole different ballgame.
If it's any consolation, I know what it feels like. I work 7 days a week.
Right. And I remember so many things. Schools closed down. Lincoln School, Washington School. You know, Gottwall School. Well, Gottwall School, they rebuilt it, but a new one. You know, but things are changed, and I think we never had no Asian restaurant. We didn't have no Mexican restaurant.
You
Now
got a new one
we got 'em
coming
all.
in now, too.
We got everything, huh?
You got a new Asian restaurant coming in, too, right down on Main Street.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they just got one of the
Main and
micro-business
Cherry?
loan. I want to remember the address.
Somebody said it was going to be one of Main and Cherry.
It is, you know what, you're right, it is Main and Cherry.
Yeah, I think
the
where
old
the parking
Salads.
lot.
At the old
Somebody
Salads location,
said
yeah.
that. Well,
New stuff's coming in, Hank.
well,
Things are getting better.
okay. I want a good Italian restaurant over here. I want to get a nice Babalucci's and Baccalaureate and ravioli and calamari and the whole bit, you know. But the half hour is over. And
That went quick.
right, it did. So thanks a lot for coming here and you know, let's talk about. The more we talk, the
Anytime.
better off the town's going to move forward.
I agree.
And I see you got the Irish flag, got the Italian flag, we got everything here, we got the English, we got everything here. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you a lot. Thank you for allowing us to come into your home, and God bless each and every one of you. So keep bobbing and weaving until next week. All right? Adios, amigos.
Thanks again, Hank. Always a pleasure.